Hello, welcome everyone to Here for the Horses. So glad you are here. Hope you had a great week. We are going to get started. The first thing I'm going to talk about, and let me see if I even have it pulled up yet. I might. We're going to talk about a request I had just put up on the coaching community. Here it is. Let's share screen. Share it. Okay, so y'all can see this. This is a post I just put up asking everyone to put up a photo of you and your horse. So you guys have done a great job of that. Thank you so much. There's Leanne and Adobe. Wanda got in there. Okay, so a lot of people put their horses up on here. This is fun to go through and just see all these cool oh, I didn't see that one yet. Oh, okay. So awesome. Oh, Hannah put one up. All right, good. I called some of you out. I was like, hey, get a photo up. All right, cool. So I'm going to do something cute with those, just like a little reel. I think it'll be fun. I found it. I was listening to a song, honestly, is what was happening. I was listening to a song and I was like, this would be so cute if I just had all my people have their photos with their horse and then I'd put this to the song. So that's what you're going to see, but that's so cool. Look at that. Oh, it's awesome. I was like, who took that photo? You know, sometimes you wonder like who's in the bushes creeping around taking photos. Well, a professional photographer, that too. So yeah, these are cool. So I'm gonna do something fun with that. So if you have not got your photo up with your horse yet, pop that up on there tonight, because I'm gonna probably work on that tomorrow. The kids go back to school on Wednesday, which is good and bad. My daughter is going into middle school, so that's gonna be exciting. But it also means summer's over and I'm not quite ready for that. So whoever lives in Hawaii, need a massage on your horse? I'll be over. So I'm not ready for that yet. Okay, so send your photo in. Let's take a look. I wanted to show Nancy's belly lift. Now, was that on Kingston that I told you? Did I even say anything to you? I don't think I did. Okay, foreleg. Let's look at here it is. All right, so let's watch Kingston's belly lift here. Whoops, why do I do that every time? Okay. Yeah. I love a good belly rub in the summer. Get all those bug bites, those fly bites rubbed. It's like I can't move my leg. That felt too good. Okay, I will if I have to. He says, I'm going to be a good boy. Okay, so he's really relaxed right now. You guys can tell that, right? So I am seeing some photos where the horses are just lifting, doing a belly, half of a belly lift. They're only lifting from the mid belly back. The release. Good choice, Nancy. Got to give him some time to release. Nancy, how big is he? What size is he? Is he 16 hands? Unmute.
He's 15 hands.
15?
Yeah, but he's really stocky.
Nice. He looks huge.
Well, compared to Bunny and Raven.
Well, I thought they were like 15-1.
They're 14.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. When Bunny hit 14 hands, I told her she wasn't a pony anymore.
That's so funny. That looks like a 16-hand horse right there, is what that looks like.
Well, I'll have to measure him again now.
Look at him point, you guys. Look at, he's like, I got an itch on the back of my leg. So yeah, those marks right there are probably just fascia. Okay, so here comes the belly lift. Let's take a look.
Might be restricted fascia, or he could be dehydrated. You'll have to check that.
I keep saying the same stuff. Okay, so watch, use the back as a border to see if he's lifting, right? So I'm using that white line. He should definitely be lifting his back up past that white line. So you want to see that crack disappear. I'm pretty much saying the exact same thing right now. Okay, so watch, he's not, his head is acting like he's doing it, but he's not really doing it. And then when you get further back about mid belly there, he starts doing it. So one thing you might need to do is for the, and this is kind of a issue I'm seeing with a couple different horses. You got to get your hands right into that midline. So it's got to be right in the very center. And you got to really kind of push them up. And at the same time, you know, you're like, push up, up. Okay. So kind of get after them a little bit, ask them to pick up that midline. Sometimes you can take your thumb and just run it back and forth, you know, lengthwise. You got to kind of figure out how to get them to lift that belly. Sometimes I'll say, you know, I'll, of course, like coochie coo, get up there. And then you can also do the, okay, because that to them means move. And where are you telling them to move? You're telling them to move up, move their belly up. So try those things. And, you know, and then sometimes I'll do like long, you know, sideways cross friction strokes to get them to pick that belly up too. Okay. So we want them to kind of instantly do this, Jess, just instantly like, yeah, I'm engaged. All right. So try that. And then, you know, Sue was having the same problem with Boone. Okay. So let's take a look at that. I think I have that pulled up on, oh, my brain. No. There we go. I have that pulled up on YouTube. So let's take a look at that. Got to move this. What is that? Move that. There we go. All right, here we go. Sue belly lift. Okay, so check this out. This is Sue working on Boone again. And we saw the first time that Sue did this, her caption was, Boone does not have abdominals. So check it out here.
Karen, I need help with him. He has no abdominals. What's the problem? You're not used to the magic words, Sue. Remember what I said? No, you just gotta get them to lift them. All right, bye guys.
All right, there you go. So that was Sue and I at my last clinic. She worked on Boone. I don't know if you guys saw the photos, but I got a chance to get my hands on him. And he did lift for me. Okay. So there was obviously a difference in how we were doing it. Okay. Because I mean, we'll watch it again without the volume on. When I also noticed that like Sue's voice was really quiet, and then I come in there like a blowhorn. I'm like, but isn't that funny? Like that's a good example of Kingston. I am like Kingston compared to Bunny and Raven. I didn't know she was so big until she stood next to somebody else. It's like, yeah. Okay, so let me find it again. Where did it go? Are we even in share screen now? Share screen. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Sue. All right, let's go here. I'm gonna mute it so you don't have to hear me. Okay, so see how he's not lifting? He's like not lifting his back here. Okay, at all. He really isn't. Okay, then the monster comes over. Watch this. Watch his back. It flies up. Okay. Do you see how, and do you see his head go down? Okay, so watch his head. He's just like looking like, nah, I don't think so. Okay. Now you can tell my hands are more midline than Sue's are. So watch how far my hand, and you see that back just goes straight up and his head goes down. Okay. So do you guys see the difference? So Sue, have you worked on that at all since then?
No, I need to.
Okay. Yeah, I think just get more toward the midline and like be a little more aggressive. Maybe be a little more annoying in your voice. Maybe that'll help.
We're also working in the arena on pulling his abs too. So
Okay, cool.
we'd,
So he
we'd
should be,
double that.
he does have them, so he can fire them, but that kind of shows you that he chooses to not use them
Yes.
unless you make him.
And he doesn't choose to use them in the arena either.
Exactly.
Now he
So that's
is.
when you're gonna know. You're gonna know that, you know, and horses do that a lot, right? I mean, they're inherently lazy creatures. I do the same thing in my workout. And I noticed that and was pretty upset about it one day when I decided, you know what, I need to start really focusing on the muscle groups I'm working on. And so I tweaked just like tiny things. And then the next day I was like sore for about 3 days.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's definitely like our mentality, and horses have the same mentality of we're going to do the least amount of work possible. We're not going to make it harder on ourselves. So you do have to set them up to a point where it's like, no, the only answer is to lift and contract. Okay. So same within the arena, but you know, he'll do good because he has them. He does have them. They instantly contracted when I did it. And then, I mean, Sue, why don't you tell us a little bit? Oh, you had another cool thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, Sue. Okay. So one, great job on Boone, Sue. I don't know if you guys could tell if you went through, I don't know if I put up all the photos of my clinic, but Boone looks, c'est magnifique. He looks so much better now that you've been working on him, Sue.
He
So
does. He
that's
does.
impressive work. Good job.
He's even he's much more trusting of me too.
Of course. Yeah. That's gonna come with it for sure. I mean, he looks really good. He looked excellent in that clinic, and he did everything really well. Lateral flexion was really good. You guys remember the video where it's like, you know, he just wasn't quite getting it? Well, he nailed it at the clinic. He laid down. Oh, did I show you guys that photo? Mm-hmm. He laid down like a corpse. He needed a break. Okay. So that was super cool. But Sue, tell us about going to the rescue, please, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. It's actually my friend's ranch. She has a lesson program and does a lot of agility work and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't know if you remember when those 27 horses were seized in Graham a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay, she was the Humane Society contacted her because they know of her, and she took 12 of the 27 horses.
Oh my gosh.
And was able to, one of them was fairly ill. Well, a lot of them were fairly ill because it was an extreme cruelty case. One of them, she had to have put down, it had a uterine infection that looked like a tumor. And they just couldn't save the horse. But she had this gelding. She since, I should say, of the 12, one I think died, and then most of them she rehabbed and sold them to her students, and then I think she has 2 or 3 that she kept, and one of them she one of her students likes this particular gelding. His name's Harley. And I was going to go, I went down, she lives in Roy. I went down to massage Kathy's horse. And then she asked me if I would massage Harley. He was one of the rescue ones. And Harley's little girl student and her mother wanted to watch. And I said, sure, I'll do that. I started on his head, obviously, and I only got to his head and his neck and his withers because he had so many releases, and he released in every way I know of: lick and chew, yawn, bite the foreleg, bite the flank, rub the face, snort, blowouts. And it was multiple times, just multiple times. And so I thought that was a bit overwhelming. And I thought I'd give him a break. I'm going to go back on Saturday and work him some more. But as I was driving home from that, I was thinking, oh my gosh, that horse probably has had that tension for years because he had been living in this horrid situation. And I had even visited that, I wouldn't call it a ranch, but when that woman was in operation, I visited her place and was horrified. And anyway, so it filled me with some satisfaction that I was able to help him, but it was also really emotionally sad to know what he was carrying and what he had been through. And anyway, it was a cool experience. I'm really glad I did it. It's just one of those, jaw-dropping moments.
Yeah, totally. So that's the thing with, I've donated a lot of time to a local rescue actually. And that's the thing with situations like that is that it can almost take you over. So you have to be careful of that. Rescues in general, not good ones, but some of the rescues almost border on hoarding themselves. So you have to be careful. They also, and hers wasn't like this, but I'm talking about the rescue that I was working at. They need a lot of help, right? They need a lot of help. They're taking care of many, many, many horses, more than an average person would take on, right? And generally they're run by volunteers. Well, the thing with volunteers is you get what you get, right? Because you're not paying them. So there were problems with volunteers at the place that I went at. One, not enough, and then two, some of them were like ripping the place off. Some of them wouldn't do a good job. If they don't want to come, they don't come. They're volunteers. So that can be really hard. You can also find a lot of horses that are in depression. So I had walked up into one horse's stall one day, and it was this thoroughbred, sweet, lovely thoroughbred, just lovely horse. And I had worked with him. He was one of the broke ones. So there were two broke thoroughbreds. Great horse. And I had walked up and he had one of the stalls, right? But the stalls weren't cleaned regularly. So it's not great either way. And I walked in and I knew this horse relatively well, and I could tell he was in depression. And so I was like, what's going on? What is going on with this horse? And so I went and talked to the owner and I said, I'm going to take him to my house because he's depressed. I gotta get him out of here. I'm going to foster him for a little while, if that's all right. I wasn't really asking. But she said, okay, yeah, cool. That's awesome. And he should be for sale too, because he's broken. He's lovely, lovely horse. So I brought him to my house, and I'll tell you what, that horse's attitude changed around in 24 hours. Okay. So that can be really hard when you're dealing with situations like that. Like, I get these rescues are really trying to help. But sometimes their situation isn't much better. She also had a lot of, she had a bunch of rescues from an Icelandic seizure of like 57 Icelandics or something wild. And those little Icelandics just lived in a dirt mud paddock. And she said they were on sanctuary. And I'm like, that's not a sanctuary. That's a nightmare. That's a jail. They were all wild. They were all broke, or they were all wild. I was trying to gentle one of them because someone was interested in it. And its feet were so messed up that you can't do round pen work with them, right? When their feet are flippers. Well, what's the best way to gentle a horse? Don't try to do it in a stall. Okay, you want to be able to move around, be comfortable. They can wear themselves out if they want to. They can be calm if they want to. They can, you know, but if their feet are flippers, then you have to do it in a stall. And it was not fun. I mean, it was not fun. So yeah, those situations are hard. Working on horses who have been through stuff like that is rewarding, but I'm glad, Sue, that you brought up the sad aspect of it, because everybody thinks, oh, a rescue, that's awesome. It is, but it's also really hard on your heart sometimes.
Mhm.
So just something to be aware of, because it's tough. So that's cool. That's cool that you were able to give that horse just so much release. And the way I look at it is, you know, every release, every different area on that horse's body that you were working on reminds me of opening a door. So this horse had 20 doors all closed. And then Sue came along and opened that one. And then yawn, yawn, yawn. And then Sue came along and opened that one. So that tension is allowed to escape. And sometimes all you need to do is open the door. Open the door, allow the tension to come out, because they have it all closed up for some reason. And so hopefully he stays that way. What's going to be really interesting, Sue, and let us know how it goes after next Saturday, is what was left, you know, because you
Mhm.
know you didn't get it all. You know, it's going to take multiple visits to get it all. But go back and kind of go over the same areas and let us know what was gone and what was still there, because that tells
Mhm.
you a lot on the second massage. Okay.
Okay.
So, you know, if you massage a horse and they're really messed up, and they have pole issues, jaw issues, neck issues, shoulder issues, but you come back and they don't have pole and jaw issues, they don't have neck issues, but they still have shoulder issues, you've just narrowed something down. That's really important. Okay. So if the tension comes back, it's probably more of a problem. And then if it doesn't come back, it might never come back. They just needed help getting rid of it. And I think, Wanda, one time you had said something about, like, what if you come back and it's like all different? Something like that. And that's very normal. Okay, because you're knocking the chunks off, and then all of a sudden more stuff, either it seems to come to the surface, but it's not coming to the surface. It's just that one, it was covered. There's one way it was covered by the other stuff before, and then you uncovered it. Okay. Now you need to get rid of it once you've uncovered it. Or two, you have, you know, think about the spider web, right? The adhesion picture that I showed you of the netting that got pulled. Okay, so you've relieved some of the netting, the pulls in the netting. And then because you've relieved some of those, the body has had to like recompensate. And then, you know, some other stuff had come up. So totally normal. That might be something you run into, Sue. So that's okay.
Yeah, I
From the-
got a note from her today saying that after I left and she let him out, he actually galloped in the pasture, and she said she'd never seen him gallop.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
So that was, I was happy to
That's
hear
the
that.
best.
That kind of really turned it around for me. And so did her other horse. The one I went to actually massage was her own personal horse, who's 35.
Nice.
She also, when she released her, she also galloped out into the pasture, which she hadn't seen her do that in a couple years.
That's wild. What a blessing, honestly.
Yeah.
So
No,
cool.
really.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So everybody go find a decrepit horse this week, and I want you all to massage it and come back and tell me. Leanne, you're gonna have to go trucking through the woods. You might have to do it on a deer. I don't know. Find an animal out there somewhere. Okay, that's awesome. Good job, Sue. Okay, any questions so far? Or I'm gonna move on to Adobe. Okay, did everyone see the video that Kay put up of her little horse? I mean, I won't say little. I thought it was a Icelandic, but it looks like a tall horse. Did everyone see that video? Let me pull it up. She did a good job. Doop doop. So yeah, Sue and I were trying to get an idea on how to do something funny, and that's what we came up with, guys. Let's see. Facebook. Oh, I did those. I just have to delete them now. Zanzibar. Okay, let's look for K here. Wanda, I haven't seen yours yet. I have not seen that one yet. Haven't seen that one yet. Okay, this is the leg range of motion that I did on, I hate this photo so much. Georgia looks like she's messed up. Leg range of motion. Okay, I just put this up yesterday, I think. So check that out. Leanne, check that out too, because I show how to do what I was talking about lifting that leg up higher, which you did on Adobe. So we're gonna look at that in a second. But let's bring up Kay. Here she is. I might be wrong. It's possible. Okay, that looks real nice, doesn't it? Nice and loose. Okay, but she does what I tell you guys to do about lifting it above 90. So that's 90. And then she goes above 90. Okay, did y'all see that? I moved my cursor over the top of it. So and then she goes above 90. So that's how you work on those bulkier horses like Adobe. Okay. So let's take a look at Adobe's right now. This horse is pretty loose, pretty nice looking shoulders. I believe Zanzibar was pretty darn good too. Tariq was a little tighter. Okay, Adobe. I think this is the one I was talking about. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so can everyone see here how that is about, oh, come on. That is about maxed out for this horse. Okay, can you all see that? So look at the muscles here. Look at how beefy he is. Okay, he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so this is all tight. This is sunk in because this is tight. And then his chest is tight. So I want all of this to loosen up. Now you can see he's not even at 90 degrees yet. Right? And look at how his leg is curled. Okay, so that's going to be back here. All right. So let's watch him pick that leg up again. And I bet these legs are heavy. I think you've said that before, Leanne. They look heavy, right? Okay, so right about, I mean, honestly, right about there is where he really goes to easily, right? And then Leanne was like, I'm going to tough it out and bring it up a little bit more here. Okay, but all that's tight. He also is not, he's also not really relaxing into it yet, but he does, so it's okay. So let's keep, so you can see he kind of started to drop this leg a little bit, but you can see these are tight. This is kind of bulged out. This is kind of bulged out. There, see now Leanne's trying to go up higher. She's actually getting it really well. Do you see how this is starting to loosen up now? Yeah, let him go. There you go. That worked pretty good. Yeah, that hurt Leanne. Maybe don't do that, Leanne. I don't know if you can. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, but I know anytime I do this, my knuckles hurt.
Yeah,
So if you can, like
I
that.
had done this and that's why they hurt so bad. So after that, I think I tried to
Yeah.
do this I did
Yeah.
it several times. I just only submitted this portion, but when I did not let him down, he just puts downward force on it and I can't hold him, so.
Yeah,
it just goes
so,
whoosh.
yeah, if he does that, there's a couple things you can do. And based off his personality, you know, he's a good boy and I know he wants to be a good boy. So I would almost reprimand him a little bit, like, hey, knock that off. Or smack him on the, and I know that his leg weighs a lot, so you might not be able to do one-handed and smack him, but like, I wouldn't really let him do that, or I would just drop his leg. I would
Yeah.
drop it and be like, oh, do you want to make it uncomfortable for me? I'll make it uncomfortable for you. And then we're just going to do it 80 more times. So don't do that anymore. And then also, you know, your typical sounds like, don't do that, you know, and he's a good boy. So I think he would, excuse me, I'm sorry, I would never do that to him. Okay. So, yeah, you can see that right there, the little peg leg stuff. Yeah. I go, knock it off. Yeah. And don't sacrifice your body for him putting that leg down, because it's too easy on him. It's gonna be too hard on you. So I would just either drop that leg or give him a little smackaroonie and be like, no, honey, we don't do that to me. You be nice to me. Okay. But this is pretty good. I didn't think he would do this well, but you can see how there's room for improvement there. See, that loosened up. So that's how you're going to get that to loosen up. There, that's beautiful. So then I would just give it to him. Perfect. Okay. So you're on your way there. And the more you can do that with him, the better he's going to get. And then it won't get so stuck, right? Because it just seems like, well, he's built stocky, so he's gonna get stuck like that. Okay, but that was quite good. So let me show you what.
Okay.
Whoops. Oh, okay. So let me show you. Oh my gosh, please stop. The video with Georgia here, where I kind of talked a little bit about it. See if I can find it. She was a maniac out in the pasture all right. She's been neglected because I've been working with Chester and she's been a little bit off. So I finally worked her on this day and she was wild. She felt good. Okay, so there's 90, right? Don't do that. Okay, now I want you to take it up higher. Oh no, I didn't do it on there. Oh yeah, it gets bulky right here. I'll just unmute myself.
You're really kind of bigger. Who else was I thinking about for this one? Kay did a really good job of showing this. So if you have a really bulky horse and the leg only wants to come up to here, you have my permission to get in a sumo stance and lift that leg up above 90 degrees. Okay, your horse should be able to do this. I don't do this if I don't feel like it's restricted, but if I feel like it's restricted, I'm going to take it up higher. Okay, and then give them their leg back and see what that does. Look and shoot. She was like, that was kind of rude. But she needed it. We're ripping around out there. I gotta go tell my arena now. Angel face. Angel face. I don't know what happened to your forelock, but it's looking sparse. Okay. So hers actually didn't pull in as much as I thought it was going to. Okay, so second time. Wait for them. Pick their leg up. It should not be a battle. Okay, that does feel better. All right. So 90 degrees, this leg's pretty straight. If it was curled, I want you to stop, put the leg down and rub these flexors right here. Okay. If just this bottom part is curled, I want you to stop and rub just the pastern and the fetlock. Okay. This was all of our homework already. Okay. Now what I want you to do, slide your hand down to the fetlock.
So you see what I said, what I'm talking about going up past 90 now. for the bulkier horses, right? Does anyone have any questions on that? It's not super easy on your body. We'll watch it one more time.
Yeah, please.
So that's 90 degrees.
Okay. Now for bulky horses, this area can get really locked down. So I'm thinking like Adobe, Bunny. You're really kind of bigger. Who else was I thinking about for this one? Kay did a really good job of showing this. So if you have a really bulky horse and the leg only wants to come up to here, you have my permission to get in a sumo stance and lift that leg up above 90 degrees. Okay, your horse should be able to do.
Okay, so look at how much higher that is. I would normally have her knee right here with the elbow. Okay. Right there. So I'm bringing it up because I'm stretching what? I'm stretching this. Look at how that's pulled.
So
Okay.
when I was pulling Adobe above 90, I got on my sumo squat and then I went to releve on my toes. I tried to do my arms, but I mean, he was so heavy. I could not do my arms. Like you do this 90 mostly with your arms at the end. You've already finished with your legs.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, if he gets looser, it may be easier. But
It will.
because I mean, that was the most I could even lift him was that angle because he's so heavy, and I'm going like this after my legs have stretched up as high as they could go.
Yep. And it will get lighter. Okay. And then one thing you can do if you can't go higher is I could lean back here. Okay. That's going to actually it might force him to step forward. So you need to be ready to drop the leg. But I could, because sometimes I'll put their knee right into my pelvis and I'll just move my pelvis forward and back and I'll get this whole scapula to loosen up. So that's another thing that you can do. So you can instead of loosening it by bringing it up, you can loosen it by bringing it back and forth. And then it should also get lighter also. Okay. So yeah, I mean, horses that are going to find this really easy, Zanzibar, thoroughbreds, Kay's horse did it no problem. Okay. So your leaner horses, your less bulky horses are going to be able to do that. All right. Okay. Was there another video I was going to look at? Does anyone have any questions on that? I haven't looked at these yet.
Let's look
Cinder?
at on Ellie's. She did the second day I did Ellie. She actually did pretty good, but for some reason I must not have hit the right button. I didn't get a video. So this was the
Oh.
first day. She was doing that push her leg down like Adobe did. And
Okay,
I
on
did
this video?
Yes, and it's fairly
Okay.
short because it was just showing that she's pulling against me basically. And she
Yeah.
shouldn't be able to lift her leg. She's not bulky or anything.
Not at all. She shouldn't have a problem. So she
Now,
probably
I will
played
say, since
playing a game.
EPM, when she does the three-legged stance, you'll see she'll switch her legs. They go kind of splayed out and she moves her butt. So it could be a balance. She still feels not stable on three legs. So I wasn't sure about that, but I gave up with her on this day too, because this is just a couple. I did it several times and she did it every time. But then the next couple days later, I did it and she did not put her leg down. So
Right. So don't feel bad about giving up. It's just a piece of the puzzle, right? So you've accomplished what you are comfortable accomplishing that day. And then you come back and they're better. That's a win.
yeah.
Okay. That's a win. So let's watch this one here. I'm gonna make it bigger. Hold on. Ah, why do I always hit that one? No. Make it big. There we go. I always hit the wrong box. Yeah, so stand with your pelvis like right next to her knee, like real close. So that'll help her feel more stable and you'll be lifting up more than you will back. That lower leg looks great. See how it's just going up and down? So to me, that looks good. I'd stop there. There we go. Good. That looked good. I'm happy.
Yeah, this may have been the other day because the first day she did not do that, but I thought this was the first day video. So
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, this looks awesome to
maybe
me.
it was the second day video and I got confused, but she did step down on it. And I didn't feel like I stretched it out very far, but she did step down on it. So
Yeah, so you would want it to go forward more, but I never worry about the forward part until, you know, if you don't bring it forward enough, that's fine. You just bring it forward a little bit more next time. I would rather you not bring it forward and then have to bring it forward more than take it too far forward and lose their trust.
mhm. I was trying to get her out of the shadow. I
Yeah,
like
it was dark.
in the shadow because it's cooler, but she was really in the shadow.
Yeah, that looks nice. Super nice. So I would go right down to the fetlock right now and then take that leg down. That's where she's tight, okay? So, she's tight like right here and then right above the knee because she doesn't want to straighten her knee. Okay, so this part up here is good, but she does not want to straighten this knee. That's why she keeps putting the foot down because she knows you're going to ask her to do that.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay, does that make sense?
yes.
So you can almost go directly to step 2 with her. You can skip step 1. So you could almost pick her up by the fetlock, walk your butt back and ask her to bring that leg down. And if she steps down the first time, that's okay. So this would be kind of more advanced, all right? So she's smart, and the thing with smart horses is you always gotta adjust stuff for them because they always kind of come up with an answer for you. So with her, she's good at 90 degrees, no problem. But then when you ask her to straighten that leg, she knows she's tight below the knee and above the knee. So she's like, no, I'm gonna just put it back underneath myself so I don't actually have to stretch that part out. And then, you know, she puts it down because she's going to, and she's going to overpower you. So instead of doing step 1, which she is very comfortable with, go straight to step 2, kind of, I don't want to say trick her, but we're changing it up. So she doesn't have an answer for that yet because you haven't done it yet. So pick the fetlock up, bring it forward, set it down. She might step down on it, but that's okay. There will be a moment where she has to stretch that and loosen it up. And then do it again and see what happens.
Okay.
Okay. So that's going to be kind of that little fix for her because she has figured out how not to do it, which I think that's like, she needs a t-shirt that says that. Like, I can figure out how not to do this. That's her thing. All right. Okay, so that was cool. Yeah, you do have to adjust with horses because they'll always come up with something. All right, let's take, oh, my little pork chop. Let's take a look at Cinder here. Haha, I didn't do it that time. Yeah, he looks beefy. Oh, that move's nice. He's already thinking about picking his foot up. Interesting, he puts his head away like that. Very good. Watch your back there, Wanda. Good. Okay, so he's tightening up right here. That looks nice. Oh, peg leg. Good. So you can move that. Obviously pecs are really good. This isn't too tight on the outside because if it was, he wouldn't be able to go in. Yep, down to the fetlock, nice and easy. So the foot should come down to right here. Oh, over a little more than that, huh, Bubba? Okay, so that's a little bit more than I would want for him, just because you can see how stretched out he is. But that shows he has an excellent range of motion. Good boy. He tolerated that well. Most horses would have stepped down a little bit on that, but he was like, I got it. That was good. All that, see all this tissue move, you guys? Doesn't that look good? Oh, he's like, I'll lift my belly. You don't even need the coochie coochie coo me. Okay, so that looks good. That's 90 degrees right there. Perfect. Good. Wanda, try to lift above 90 degrees and see what that does next time you do it.
So do
Because
I
he's
need
gonna
to
be on that bulkier side, so you'll want to do that with him every once in a while.
So do I need to be closer to him?
A little bit.
Okay.
This is just the part when you're at 90 degrees, you want the foot to go straight down. So he should land right around here. He's
Okay.
definitely a little bit far forward. But I mean,
Okay.
he's stretching it. He's confident. You have not lost his trust.
Yeah,
Because
and
yes,
I didn't ask him to be that far forward, but I could feel the release in the back of the leg. And he just said here. So
yeah,
I
right
let him
on.
go. And I did
Perfect.
this 3 times, but it was hot here today. All the fans are gone. The video is not great, but I thought, well, I'll just send this one. This was the 3rd one on this side.
Okay, perfect. How were the first 2 a little tighter?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's
And I had just worked him, we're still working on our level 4 stuff. And I had just worked him and then brought him in. The flies are just horrible. And so I brought them all in and then I started on this and I think I did 3 on each side. And the first one, he's, you can feel him lift up and kind of pull away, but then he's like, oh, we're doing a thing. And he was fine. So,
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. Very normal. So I look
Okay.
great. Absolutely. It would be interesting to see how well he does when he's cold, so before he's worked. Because he's going to be a little stiffer. So when you work them, they loosen up as they're being worked. So he just to compare, do it next time before you
Okay.
work him. And you'll notice a difference that he's a little tighter. So that's why it's fun to kind of know, like in your own brain, you would know when he's warm after a workout on a warm day, this is how far he can go. Midwinter, he's not doing that.
Yeah.
He's not doing that in midwinter, and don't ask him to. Because never never stretch cold muscles. And people take that saying wrong. They think, oh, I have to warm my horse up. I have to do all this. I have to make sure, I have to trot him for 15 minutes before I stretch him. No, that's not what that means. It means don't take them out of a stall. When you live in Wyoming, it's 10 degrees minus, and then start stretching their poor little legs. Okay, that's what that means. So you don't need to work them. You don't need, but be aware that when you get up in the morning, okay, you do not bend down and touch your toes the way you do it in the afternoon. Okay, so you have to be really sure, like if you're pulling your horse out of a stall or it's cold outside, that you need to be a lot more kind to them when you're stretching them. And you did a lot of nice massaging before that, so he was ready to go. Absolutely. Even if it wasn't, even if you hadn't worked him and it wasn't a hot day, you did nice leg work on him. So it kind of told his body to wake up a little bit before that. So that's great, but don't take them out of a stall midwinter and start stretching them, you know, definitely walk them out before then. Stuff like that. So that looks really good. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, and then you guys probably saw, does anyone have, let me stop share here. Does anyone have any questions on anything we discussed or anything about homework this week? So homework's same thing. I want to see leg range of motion. If you've done it on your horse, and I've already talked about your video, do it on another horse. Or do it again and see if you can get, you know, like Marge, you've already sent in videos and I've talked about them, but let's work on Tariq a little bit and see if you can get Tariq as loose as Zanzibar, because he was a little
Yeah.
tighter. He
He
was a
was
little
tired.
fussier. Hmm?
Yeah, yeah, yes. But he does have issues too. So, you know,
That's
that
right.
could be part of it.
Well, that's exactly the thing though. So Tariq has some sort of injury that makes it so he can't really pick up that leg and move it back. Can you tell everybody a little bit about that,
Yeah,
Marge?
he cannot back up anymore. He used to back up beautifully online under saddle, and all of a sudden, he can't do it anymore. With his on his left side, he if I ask him to back up on say online, he'll take one step back with his right foot, and then he keeps his left leg totally straight and drags it a little bit and looks at me like, I can't do this anymore. I've had to
Yeah.
vet multiple times. We've tried all kinds of things and nothing has made any difference.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't know
he has
what it is.
he has some sort of injury on that leg that has now changed his lifestyle a little bit. You
It
know,
could be, I mean, it
out of,
might be his shoulder or his neck, the vet said, because he was never
Yeah.
lame. It was done it's
You have
done his
no
foot.
idea.
So,
Yep.
but no, tried all kinds of things.
Yeah. So that's fine. He's still a happy camper. And generally, out of him and Zanzibar, he kind of seems to be the more easygoing of the two. Is that correct?
He's not as Zanzibar is a little more dominant and hateful. I mean, he can be, you know, he pins those ears. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Tariq's he's pretty dominant, but I mean, he was left brain extrovert, and Zanzibar's more left brain introvert. But Tariq was never hateful. He's mouthy, and you
Right.
can't back him out of your space anymore.
Right.
So I was like,
Oh yeah, you can't back him out of your space
yeah,
now. That's funny.
can't back him up. So,
Yeah, but what was interesting was that Tariq with this leg stuff definitely had more attitude than Zanzibar did.
yeah,
So that kind of, it tells you that he knows that his legs have tension. Because in everything else, he's quite a happy boy.
Mhm.
So I think we can improve at least his attitude about the legs and his ability to do that exercise. We can get some of that tension out of there for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying. See, with him too, it's easier for him to pick his foot up like outside. That's why I took him outside. And I propped my phone up on something on my chair. So I had to move my chair outside. He was trying to go get my chair
Yeah, exactly.
because it's
Yeah.
usually in my tack room and I have them right outside there.
Yeah.
But so he was trying to, let me go see.
Yeah,
get the
it's
chair.
we do crazy things for these horses, I'll tell you that.
So, but, you know,
Okay.
but I figured it'd be easier on him because I know it is.
Absolutely.
The barns, it's harder. The ground's harder.
Always take them where they're going to, we're gonna set these horses up for success every time. So always do what's gonna work for them, for sure. Okay? So that's cool, but I think we're gonna see a difference in Tariq on legs because Marge is gonna keep working on that. So this week we are gonna keep working on leg range of motion. Yeah, so let me see more. If you wanna go back to something, Nancy, I know you were saying that you feel like you were playing catch up. Don't feel like you're playing catch up, you guys, because we're gonna just keep running this. So, you know, when we get to the tip of the tail, we're just gonna start over. So don't feel like you have to catch up at all. You know, Jenny, you got a new little varmint there you're gonna be working on. So we all have multiple, well, I guess we all do have multiple horses, don't we? So yeah, feel free to take your time, pick a horse, and then we'll just keep going through it. And we don't need to feel like we're catching up or we're behind or anything. We're just on a different part of the body. Okay, but I do want to make sure, and you guys are kicking butt on leg range of motion. A lot of you have been with me for a long time, so you know what you're doing. But it is the hardest thing I teach. It takes the most finesse, it takes the most timing. It's also kind of physically hard on your own body. It's not the easiest. Lateral flexion is the other one that's hard, and you guys are doing awesome on that. So we're going to spend more time where we need to spend more time. You know, the wither rub didn't take much effort or skill, so we all kind of knocked that one out of the park. So if we need to stay on leg range of motion, we will do that for a little bit longer. So we'll do that again this week. Shoot me some videos, and yeah, we'll be good to go. Okay, any questions from anyone? Feel free to unmute. No? Okay, so cool thing, every year since COVID, I gotta move all these stuff around. I go to retirement homes, and well, I go to a retirement home, and now I gotta move it down here. And I take horses with me. The first time, I'm pretty sure I talked to you guys about this. I took Georgia, and it was just a weird idea. Oh, I should talk about this. The September 8th for our Live at 5, we are going to have Jen from High Plains Saddle Fitting. Okay, I'm going to interview her, and you guys are invited. So it's going to be a saddle fitter. She's going to talk about, it's going to be similar to the interview that I did with the hoof care practitioner, Katie Garrett. Okay. So I'm just going to interview her on all things saddle fit. What are important? What are the different things you notice with poor fitting saddle, da, 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 da. So feel free to join September 8th for that. And if you have questions on saddle fit, you can write those down, and we will have a question and answer at the end of it. Okay, so feel free to invite people. She does mostly hunter jumper, but I told her I want to keep this non-specific. And I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but Western saddles are a bit easier to fit than jumping saddles in English, just because the points of contact are less. So yeah, we're gonna have the saddle fitter for September 8th. Okay, so here we go. Every year since COVID, you know, seniors took a real beating during COVID. That lockdown on them was extra hard because they got kind of locked in a lot of places. I know everyone's at different areas around the world, but around here, whoops, I better fix that or we're gonna end this. Around here, a lot of seniors entered into major depression during COVID because they were not able to have contact with their family or their grandchildren or anything like that. It was very, very hard on them. Some of them passed away because of it. So there were a lot of things that people were trying to do to brighten their days. That gave me the idea of, because I work out at a gym like right next door to this retirement home, and that gym I was looking over during COVID and just looking kind of not in the windows, but I just felt, I knew that they were kind of shut in there. So I noticed there was a sidewalk that went all the way around, and I thought to myself, you know what? I bet you Georgia would walk along that sidewalk just fine. And so I contacted them and I said, hey, I have a really good horse, and I was wondering, I know you guys are not allowed to, you know, have people in or anything like that, but all of the windows of this facility, like these are rooms right here. These are patients, not patients, but residents' rooms. And this is the sidewalk. And I said, you know, if they open their blinds, I could take Georgia around the outside and stop at every window, if you think that that would be fun. Well, the woman who's in charge of activities at this facility is a lovely woman named Jenny. And she was all about that. So I said, okay, well, let me bring my horse down there first before I make too many promises. And let me walk her around the outside to make sure. And oh no, I was actually just planning on bringing Georgia. Sorry. And then she goes, could you bring like 5 or 6 horses? And I was like, whoa, Jenny, whoa. Let's calm down a little bit. Let's make sure that this is gonna work as well as it does in my head, because sometimes in my head things look different than they do in reality. And so I brought Georgia. There's my beautiful girl. And I walked her, I unloaded her in the Eagles parking lot next door, which is where you saw us walking to. And this is Ginny. I appreciate her so much. And I walked Georgia around the outside of the building. And I just wanted to see, like, are there funky, there were some pinwheels, you know, like garden stuff that were spinning. So I want to make sure that's fine. There were garbage cans, there were dumpsters, there were just kind of random weird stuff. So I was more thinking of like, how high of a tolerance does the horse that I asked to bring here have to have for this sort of stuff? And I knew Georgia could handle anything. So I walked her along the outside. There's my Tanner Tot, who's no longer with us. This is my friend Nancy, who took him, and I had Georgia. So there's the sidewalk that we were walking on. So walked around as a trial on, this was probably 2 weeks before this day, and everything went great. Everything went great. And so I said, okay, I think we can do this, and I think I can invite some more people, and I'll bring my other horse, and then I'll bring my dad's horse, and then I'll bring some friends' horses. So on this day where I'm doing the trial, and I think I've told some of you this story already, I'm walking Georgia around on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden I'm coming around this corner, and I look and I see this older gentleman in a electric wheelchair come ripping Mario Andrettian around the corner. And I go, whoa, he's coming in hot, like he's coming in fast. And I go, this will be a great test, you know, the true mind of a desensitizer. Like, oh, excellent. Now, is my horse desensitized to an electric wheelchair full speed? We're about to find out. So he comes up Mach 3, like if his wheels could have squealed, they would have when he slammed his brakes on in front of her. And he instantly starts grilling me as he's petting my horse, who's going like this. Because, you know, she's not the most affectionate little mare on the planet. So he's petting her. He's asking, what breed is she? How old is she? Who does her feet? What do you do with her? What's her name? What's her breed? What's all this? And I go, okay, we got Cowboy here, right? He's asking me who does her feet. And I said, well, I do her feet. And I'm thinking, oh, great. You know, is he an ex-hoof, you know, is he an ex-farrier? And he's going to be telling me all these things. And he goes, you do a pretty good job. And I thought, hey, that's 5 stars from a cowboy right there. That's 5 stars. I must be awesome. Okay. And then he says, how old is she? And I said, well, you know, to be honest with you, she was wild when I got her. So nobody knows how old she is. And so his hands didn't really work all that well. So they were kind of like this. And so he kind of kept messing with her face like this. And I thought, oh, he's just petting her, right? Because his hands were, and I was like, he's not petting her well, but he's petting her. She was like, oh gosh, this is awful. Please end this. And I go, oh, are you trying to look at her teeth? You're old cowboy. You're going to tell me how old she is. I said, she's around 10. And he goes, oh, and he starts trying to lift her lips up. I go, let me do that for you. So I flipped up her little lips there, and he's looking and he's looking. And he's like, yeah, she's around 10. And I start getting the background on him, and he's an old farm, farm guy. We live in kind of a rural farming area, and he's had horses his whole life. He's done their feet. He's done all this stuff. So he hadn't seen a horse in years. And he broke out. And you couldn't stop him on that day if you tried, because he was going to run that wheelchair right through that door. So I thought, yeah, this is good. This is good. So he got to spend time with my mare that day, and Ginny come running out after him going, you can't be out here. You can't be out here. You can't be out here. And he didn't hear nothing she was saying. He didn't hear anything. He couldn't hear. She kept saying, and then she just finally kind of looked at him like, all right, you can be out here. So he spent about 10 minutes out there with my mare and just loved it. So 2 weeks later, we brought the rest of the crowd back, and this is what we did. So this one is this is not the first trip. This is like the third time we did it. So probably 2 years later. We did it twice the first year. So first year we walked around the outside because they were all still in lockdown. This is probably the second year. So everybody brought chairs out and sat down on the sidewalks, and we just kind of took a little parade through, and we decorated all this cool stuff. And then I think what ended up happening was so this might have been the first or second, because this is my dad's horse Dakota. He's no longer with us. But my dad's horse Dakota was awesome. That's my Tanner. He's no longer with us. And then these are my other two friends. This is a big old Black Forest horse and a little Appy there. So we had a great time. We've been doing it every year. We're doing it again in 2 weeks. So if you guys are interested in doing something like this, it was literally me calling this place and going like, hey, I have a really nice horse who's really well behaved. Do you think you might possibly want me? And they cut me off and said, yes. Okay. There was no requirements. And she literally was like asking me to bring like 8 horses. And I go, you know what? We're probably not going to do that. Because I know my horse and I know some of my friends' horses, but I don't trust that many people, with that many horses unless I know them really well. So you can just do that anywhere really, and just you'll have to adjust it to whatever the situation. This situation is awesome because they have a sidewalk going around the outside. We have now incorporated the memory care facility. Okay, so the memory care facility, this is Bentley's his name, this is the Black Forest horse, is in a completely different building. So they have literally the residents all coming out now, and the game plan was that we're gonna have them all come up one by one and pet the horses. Okay, that was the game plan. Reality was they're all gonna swarm in there like bees on honey, and they're touching these horses, and it went fantastic every single time we did it. So we never had any problems. Wonderful, wonderful horses, wonderful people. The horses all knew their jobs too. You know what I mean? Like when horses are really good with kids and then they'll buck the owner off like every time you ride. Same deal. They know that these folks need help, and that they have to be well behaved. So everything went really well. Yeah, so we've been doing this since COVID. So if anyone wants to do that, definitely call local. Like, this is a 20-minute drive. It takes a total of an hour, and that's with the memory care facility. So it all worked out really well. Horses liked it. People liked it. It was super fun. Okay, so I'll encourage you to do that. If you all were closer, we'd all do it as a group. All right. Any questions on that?
I have a
Nancy's-
question.
Yeah, Sue.
If you want a photographer for that day, I'd be happy to do it.
I certainly do. Thank you. Yep. We're just deciding on if we're doing it in the morning or in the afternoon.
Sure, just keep me posted.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Last thing, I know we're going over today. Let me look something up here. So I am offering something to you guys. Well, I'm technically gonna be offering it to everyone, but I'm only offering it to you first. And what I mean first, I mean like, probably not going to offer it to the public for 6 months or so. So I only want, I mean, I need kind of my core, you know, I'm not gonna allow this to go out to other people. All right, so this is what it is. Oh, I haven't published it yet. Okay. Design. Okay. Hold on. It's going to be called In Tune Horse Massage Intensive. Okay. You don't need to write it down because I'm going to give you an email. So those of you that I can trust with this, I'm going to be emailing you this week. Okay. But here it is. It's called Unlock Personal Equine Training, Exclusive Small Group Intensive. Okay, so this is me and 3 others, and I'm locking it down at 3. Okay, it's going to be specialized to just a group of core people that I can trust. So the rundown is going to be, there's going to be 3 participants and me. It's going to be one-on-one coaching for a 2-hour session. So while one person is getting one-on-one coaching, 2 people get to watch. Okay, so this will be done over Zoom. Then the next person will have a turn. It's not going to all be done in one day because we don't want to sit there for 6 hours. So one person gets a 2-hour time slot. I'm going to be personally coaching you through a massage. Okay. Then the other 2 people get to watch as I'm coaching and observe and learn. Okay, so it's one-on-one coaching, it's observational learning, and it's hands-on experience. So as you're massaging, for those of you who have done one-on-ones with me, it'll be similar, but it's going to be a small group now. 2-hour session, because I've found that in the one-on-ones, 1 hour, we do not get through the whole horse. So in a 2-hour session, we're going to have a lot better chance, although I'm not guaranteeing it because we're going to do whatever it takes. Okay. So it's just me, you, and 2 others. This is going to be for my advanced people only. So there will be a clearance. The price for the public, which is not you guys, is going to be $425. The price for you in my core group, so that means people that come to these, and I mean, I'm going to be sending out an email, is going to be $350. Okay. And then the price for the Winning Your Horse's Heart people is going to be $375. All right. So this is a new kind of small intensive group learning that I'm going to be turning out. So your price, if you are in this group, is going to be $350, and that code for that special is called CORE, C-O-R-E, capital letters, CORE, because you are my core group. So for that price of $350, you'll get 2 hours of personal one-on-one coaching, 2 hours of observing someone else, and then 2 more hours of observing someone else. Okay. So I'm going to be sending out an email for that. But what I'll do right now is I will put this in the paste, copy and paste this here. Copy. I'll put that in the chat. So if you want to pull it up, I am cutting this off at 3 people total. Okay. Your code is going to be core. Okay. So that's going to be pretty intense. And that's the plan for that. Okay, so that's just something I'm probably going to be doing in the next 2 months, kicking that out and then seeing how it goes. And it probably adjusts from there. You know, I'm always trying to make sure that everyone gets what they need. Some of you, I am rolling out my advanced clinic for the first time in Wenatchee. Sue is going to go to that, and she's borrowing a horse over there. So Wenatchee is over the pass from me. So that's going to be excellent. At some point in time, I will have an advanced course available. But I'm going to be teaching in that advanced course pretty much stuff that I teach you guys. Right? Because in the Winning Your Horse's Heart group, we all get a little extra because I can trust you. I know I've seen your work. I know what you're doing. Like I know what I don't want you to do based on like, hey, I don't want you to hurt yourself, so I don't want you to do this. Or I kind of know your horse's personalities at this point. So I'll be like, yeah, that's not going to work on your horse because they're too smart. They're going to figure it out, or they're this or they're that. So because of that relationship, you guys get more information from me than the public. I don't want the public trying a lot of the stuff I do, to be honest with you. Okay. So that's just an opportunity for you. If you're interested in that, I'm going to send out an email to the people that I think qualify. And then if you're interested, sign up quick because I'm going to cut that off at about 3. Okay. That's all I have. Any questions moving forward this week? Just unmute yourself.
Are you gonna have more than one set of this? That is, you'll have 3 and then sometime another 3 and then another 3?
Yeah, I'm rolling it out right now as kind of a one-time, but if it is good and people are happy, like I always want to make sure that you guys are getting good quality attention from me. So if it's good and there are breakthroughs, like I've loved the one-on-one sessions so much. I think they're just fantastic. I will definitely open it up to my group. It might never go out to the public because I don't know their skill level, and I might just be talking to them for 2 hours about how to
Yeah.
release tension in their face. So yeah, I will in the future, but this is going to be kind of a one-time deal for a little bit.
So when do you think that would start?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to make sure that it works with everyone's schedule. So the 3 people that are involved, all 3 of them have to be able to come to all 3 sessions. So we're going to be playing ring around the posy with the schedules until we nail it out, you know, and get it so everyone is able to participate. But I can start it whenever people want to. So within a month, probably.
And can you post a photograph of the paint that you're using
Yeah.
for your muscles?
Let me see if I can look it up real quick. If you got questions, go ahead while I'm looking for this. Just say them. There we go. Here it is. Okay, are we still on screen share? Okay. Zoom. Please open. Okay, screen share. Here it is. Okay, can you all see that?
Yep.
Good luck reading that company name. Clearly made somewhere else. But it's called Temporary Pet Hair Dye. It works pretty good. This was the exact one I got. 13, 14 bucks, not bad. I mean, you would not be able to do a full horse's body with these because they do kind of run out quick. So I'll probably stock up on these for my clinics and stuff. Because even with just the dots, you know, it kind of wears them down quickly. But super fun. They show up really well, as you saw in the photos that I put up, and certain hair coats like Zanzibar, Zanzibar and Tariq could look like painted little animals. But even with Georgia and her darker hair, some of these colors really pop nice on her. Black horses, you know, the lighter colors are gonna look really good. So there you go.
So I better buy another set or two.
Yeah, probably. Mm. Okay. Anything
didn't
else?
know- I wasn't sure how they'd work on a black horse, but I guess I'll find out.
No, they'll look good. And she's so slick too that she won't wear it down. So anything with like a rougher coat's gonna wear it down faster. So your mules will just blast through them. You know? That'd be cute though. You could pretend like you could paint like fake muscles up in their ears, like they got muscles going all over. That'd be awesome. Okay, well,
My
that's
do-
all I got. You guys have a good week. Keep working those legs. If you have questions through the week, let me know. If you got any issues, send me messages or whatever you need to do, okay? You're welcome,
Okay.
Leanne.
Thanks, Erin.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Thanks, Sue. Keep it
Yep,
up.
thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Whoops.